The
When
last time I held my 2-year-old daughter was in February.
of this year?
Yep.
So it's been 3 months, 4 months that you actually been able to give her a hug or a hold on to her.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How about for your son?
That's fine.
The same? Okay. That's okay. This is important. This is important that people know this because we've seen too much and I've seen too much. We're here to help try to shed light on what's going on and to hear this emotion from you. I'm sorry that you're going through this, and with your help and our help of others, your son and your daughter will be proud of you.
Welcome to More Than a File, the unheard voices from custody for cash in Pennsylvania. You're about to hear firsthand accounts from families who believe they've lived through a deeply flawed and unjust custody system. These are their unfiltered, raw stories, their experiences, their pain, and their perspectives. We're not here to tell you what to believe, but when you hear one story, you might wonder what really happened. When you hear many with striking similarities, you might start to ask, what's really going on? This podcast doesn't draw conclusions. It gives a platform. Listen with an open mind, question everything, and decide for yourself.
Hello, everybody. We're here today with Tayanna Lloyd. Tayanna is going to tell us her story. Tayanna, we're going to hear your story about what happened in the courts and how it's affected your family and your children. So welcome, Tayanna. Give us a little information about yourself, and then we're going to launch into what's happened with the courts and how it's affected your life.
Okay. Well, my name is Tayanna. I'm 33 years old. I have 2 children. One is 13, one is 4. I'm originally from Newark, New Jersey. I've only been in the state of Pennsylvania for 6 years.
You've been here for about 6 years. Are you in Lackawanna County, Luzerne County?
Lackawanna County.
Lackawanna County, okay. And tell us a little bit about what happened. How'd you get involved with the courts? And like I told you before, we're going to try to lay out a total story for everybody. So were you involved in the courts prior to how you got involved with family court?
Prior, no.
Prior, no. Okay. No arrest, none of that stuff. You work, right? From what I understood from you, you have a full-time job or you have worked in the past, correct?
Yes, I'm pre-DM. I work with intellectual disabled, special need people.
Okay. And how long have you done that, Tayanna?
I've been working there for the past 6 years.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
What you told me and what we're starting out with, somehow back in 2023, you got involved with the courts. Something happened that CYS visited you, or tell me a little bit of background on what happened in 2023.
It actually started in 20 where a woman just showed up to my home. And she basically asked, can she take pictures of my home? And I told her, well, ma'am, I don't know who you are. I'm a single mom. I'm not letting you in my home. I feel unsafe. So I closed the door. Less than 5 minutes later, I get a knock on the door, and it's the same woman with straight. And that's when she identified herself as a social worker from CYS. I asked her, what are you here for? She said, I'm here to remove your children. I said, ma'am, on what grounds? Because no one is getting hurt here. Everyone is fine. So what is the grounds? She said she had the warrant. I said, ma'am, can you show me the warrant? She didn't show me anyone. She said, I didn't have to show you anything. I'm just here to remove your children.
Wow. So was there any indication? I mean, did you have any kind of problems with the courts prior to that? Did anybody else in your family? I think you mentioned that your brother had some confrontation with the courts. Was he living with you at the time? Is there anything that gave you any kind of indication that any of this was happening?
No indication whatsoever. I was surprised because I just kept asking the woman, well, what is going on? No children is harmed. What is going on? And she just kept telling me, I don't have to tell you anything. And I'm, well, ma'am, you have to tell me something. You just can't just be moving the children. Where are you taking them? Like, what is going on? And she wouldn't tell me anything. So I wound up calling my mom that resides in Florida. My mom even reached out to her. Well, what is going on? Can you tell me something? She told my mom, I don't have to tell you nothing either.
I mean, you must have found this not only bizarre, but I mean, I can't even imagine the anxiety and what would happen if somebody knocked on your door and came in and did they remove your children right at that time?
Immediately at that point.
So the police came into your house. How many police were there?
It was 2 officers. My son was 10 at the time, and my daughter was 2 at the time.
Wow. So what did you do?
So I immediately asked the officers, okay, can she show a warrant? The officers looked immediately at her like, can you produce a warrant? And she just kept saying, I don't have to show anyone anything. And the officer was like, ma'am, call her down there, get your ducks in a row, and then she'll give you the information. So I kept calling CYS all day long, all night long. No one gave me an answer. And I want to say 2 weeks later, we had a court hearing. So I explained to the judge the situation, how she just popped up at my nose. She didn't tell me who she was, and she didn't produce a warrant. So she didn't even give me a chance to explain myself, and whatever, they just nudged me off type thing.
Did you eventually see a warrant? I would think that you would have some reason why somebody showed up your house.
I never, to this day, never seen a copy of a warrant. I've been asking since 2022, December 16, 2022, for a copy of a warrant.
Did you have the means to hire a lawyer?
At that moment, no, I didn't have the need to get a lawyer. They gave me a court-appointed attorney.
A court-appointed attorney, yes, and we have those names and the people that were court-appointed attorneys. So let me just try to lay this out again. So back in 2022, 2 people out of the clear blue, and seriously, there's no indication. Were you working at the time?
Yes, I was.
Did anybody accuse you of drugs? Was it bad housing? Was there something that happened at school that might have triggered anything that would have sent CYS to your house?
No indication at school, no indications at doctors. Like, I was taking my kids to school, doctor's appointments, no indications whatsoever. No drug history, no mental health issue, no nothing like that.
Yeah, so nothing, there was no reports from doctors or anything of that nature that would have said that. I'm trying to figure out what would have triggered CYS coming to your house out of the clear blue without a warrant.
I'm trying to understand it to this day too, sir.
And you have not, wow. Did you have, let me ask you this, what was your living arrangements at the time? Were you renting? Were other people living in the house that might have triggered something that might have sent CYS to your house?
I was renting an apartment, and just me and my children was staying there.
That was it.
That's it.
Okay, so let's move forward here a little bit. First, they come take your children. Where did they take your children to? You're talking about a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old.
They immediately put them into foster care.
Into foster care.
Yes.
And did you know where they were located from the time they came into that 2-week period when you were before the judge? Did you even have any idea where your children were taken?
No.
When did you find out where your children were taken?
When we did the 2 weeks court hearing.
And then your lawyer or the judge or the guardian ad litem or somebody from CYS told you where your children were located?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to visit either one?
Not immediately.
How long before you were allowed to even see your children?
I want to say like a month later.
A month?
A month later, I was able to see my children, and we was going down to the center that they have, and that's when I was seeing my children at. for 2 hours.
And that was what was that like? Let me ask you this question. What was your relationship? Obviously, with the 2-year-old is one thing. What was your relationship with your 10-year-old son?
Like, that's like my best friend. Like, we tell each other everything. We very close. So it was very like difficult not to speak to him or see him. Same with the baby. It was very difficult.
You must have been distraught.
Yes, I'm very concerned because I'm like, they were strangers. I don't know who they are. I was just thinking a whole bunch of things in my head. I was very, very concerned.
Well, your attorney at the time there, was there anything brought up by the attorney to say what was the reason these children were taken?
She didn't say anything. She basically allowed the CYS worker and CYS attorney just speak and never spoke at that moment.
So to this day, you can honestly say that you have no idea why your children were taken. There's been no indication the house is not in good shape or
I found out maybe what the 6 month review where they yeah 6 months review
okay.
where they wrote saying that my son's room was dirty
Oh yeah, I remember you said yeah.
and that the building had it was damages to the building, like it was a leaky roof and that it was some infestation of cockroach. But I already was notifying the landlord, the place I got my apartment. I was notifying them like every day about the situation. So I even told CYS that. So they knew all of this.
Do you think that the reason was that you're complaining to the landlord? I'm trying to just get to the bottom of this a little bit here. You were complaining to the landlord, and somehow either the landlord or somebody in the town or whatever said the home is unsafe. You think that was perhaps the reason they might have come and taken your children?
No, I don't think it was the landlord because it was other children in the building while this was going on.
Has there been other children that have been taken from the building?
Yes, actually this year. Same reason.
So they
Same reason.
so who's ever the landlord owner, is the landlord still the same owner?
Yes.
Okay. What is the rent, by the way? Do you pay rent? Are you behind on rent? Do you pay your regular rent?
The rent is only $800. I pay her was paying her all the time. On time.
So you're paying $800 a month for a home that seems as though that it might be in a little disrepair and all of that. We're going to get the information from you also, what home this was and where it is, because if they're taking people, and I'm just going to surmise here, and once again, we're trying to lay this out for perhaps maybe somewhere down the road that whether there's state reps or attorney generals that want to hear this. Why is this? Why? I mean, I don't understand why if they're taking children out of homes and not giving anybody any kind of information on why they're doing that and why they're not going after the landlord. But that's another whole story there altogether. You told me about your family a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the background of your family. You have a mom, you said, right?
Yes.
And who else did you offer or have they offered to take these children in?
Yeah, my mom, when they got taken back in 2022, my mom spoke to the caseworker that took them. She was like, well, can I come get my grandchildren? She told my mom, don't worry about it. They should be returned within a week. My mom was like, no, I will do any paperwork that I need to do. I think it's called the interstate paperwork where they be sent to a different state. So my mom asked for that paperwork so they could get sent down to Florida. And the lady kept repeating, no, they'll be back in 1 week. It's no need for the paperwork.
How about anybody else in your family? I think you mentioned some other family
Yes.
members that they work, they have a steady job. Who else
Yes.
offered to take these children?
My best friend, she called and spoke to the caseworker too. And my best friend mom also offered. What my best friend called she basically said, "Oh, you live downstairs, you too close. You can't live in the same building, so no, you can't take them." So when my best friend mom called, because she actually certified to have children, she was like, "Can I take them?" She's like, "Well, I need your grown children's social security number." And at the time, she's like, "Well, I don't know that numbers by heart. Can you wait till tomorrow when they come in for work? I can get their social security number so you can run the background." And the lady was like, "Well, what mother doesn't know their grown children's social security number?" And hung up on her. And she kept trying to call every day, every day, every day. And the calls were going straight to voicemail. No answer.
What do they do, your friends? I'm trying to set up a picture here of
Right.
you have people within your family that in your circle of friends that would be happy to take them in, and are they stable? Your
Yeah.
mom, your
She
mom.
would, yeah. My mom is a CNA and she also dog sits on the side. My best friend, she worked with intellectual disabled children at the school. And her mom is a retired RN.
You
Yes.
did mention to me your brother got into trouble, correct?
Yes.
And your brother, he doesn't live with you? Does he have any kind of connection to you in any way except that you're, as far as a living circumstance or anything of
No,
the
he never lived with me whatsoever. He had his own apartment and everything. He just other than being my brother, no other connections.
the only connection that he has is that he went before the same judge that rules on your family court, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So we want to get that noted. I did bring one other thing up to you that perhaps the foster care might not know of certain ailments and stuff of that with your, especially your younger daughter. I think you mentioned something about skin.
Okay, yes. Well, my daughter, the Boston mom is Caucasian. My daughter is African American. So when you are dealing with an African American child, you have to be we use different products. But since my daughter been in care, she started having real bad eczema, which she never had eczema when she resided with me, to the point that she started to have open wounds. And I contacted the caseworker and I even contacted the foster mom about it. I'm like, you can't use certain soaps on her. You have to use Dove unscented soap. You have to use shea butter to moisturize her skin. You can't have her in the sun too much because it's really irritating. So if you do have it in the sun, put a sunscreen on her to protect her skin.
How about, and another thing is with the hair. Okay. And
Yes.
I don't want to linger too far on this, but what I'm trying to do once again is, and what we're trying to do is lay out a story. And there's going to be a lot of stories similar to yours. I could tell you that about, why is there not more transparency in some of these things? What about the hair?
Yeah, the hair, you have to, when you dealing with African American hair, you cannot wash our hair every day because it will dry out. So we use the natural oils that's in our hair to help our hair grow to keep it moisturized. My daughter hair was so dry that it started to fall out. It started to fall out into that. So I spoke to the caseworker about it. I could educate the foster room about how to take care of hair. I would even buy the essential oils and shampoos that she would need for her hair. And what I was told by my caseworker that she wasn't going to be allowed to have any Black foster children anymore after that point.
Other than the two things you just brought up, how was the care or how is the care besides the heartbreak of not having your children there? How would you rate the care of where they're at now? And the other thing I want to really ask too is your son and your daughter in the same foster care home or are they in separate homes?
Well, they are actually in separate homes. They started in the same home, and the same woman had both of them. And when the incident that happened, I want to say the end of December of 2022, when she had battle, because I got the report from the caseworker where my son started to get angry. So I asked the caseworker, let me speak to him and let me know what's going on. They should know you can't speak to him. He just getting the house. So when I was able to have, my first visit with my children, I asked my son, I was, what happened? Why were you so angry? And you know, mommy, the lady in the caterer told me that I was never going to see you again. And I start acting up because I want my mother. And I'm, well, that's not true. You're going to see me again. That's not true. Mommy's going to get down to everything to get you back. And then he wound up getting moved to a black foster family. And everything was going well for him over there and stuff like that. They put him in sports and they're doing everything that they were supposed to do over there for him. And as far as my daughter and is pulling teeth with the foster mom, she won't allow me to speak to her. She won't bring her to visitation. She'll sit there and lie about any and everything.
I got a couple more minutes here, Tayanna. What is your relationship with your son and daughter as of today?
As of right now, I don't see them at all. I speak to my son every day through the, we text on the phone. So as of right now, me and his relationship is okay. Right now, as far as my daughter, we don't have a relationship because I don't get to see her. I don't get to speak to her. Nothing.
Obviously, if they're living in different homes, so he doesn't really get to see his sister, and his sister doesn't really have any kind of relationship. How does is he under stress from that, or he's a 13-year-old boy? Is he playing sports? How's he doing in school?
School-wise, he's doing fine. He's playing sports, but I feel like he does miss his sister because they did have a bond. Like, he used to help change diapers for his sister. He does ask about her and stuff like that. But he said he even tried to reach out to the foster mom. She wanted to return his calls.
One of the things that we found over the years of doing this was a lot of it has to do with money. Do you feel, and this is once again just a feeling, this is just something that you might bring up. Do you feel is this part of a system to foster money within the system itself?
Yes, I believe that. Yes, I totally do.
Expand a little bit about what your thought process is, why this has happened to you.
I think it is. Someone's getting paid behind this. Just well, a quick example. Don't say that my daughter's autistic. She never had showed any signs of autism whatsoever from birth whatsoever. And just when I asked them, okay, who referred her, because you have to go to a primary doctor, they didn't have that type of documentation whatsoever. And we need to know, referring her. And they sent her to a guy that's not even a medical doctor. And he's saying that she's autistic. He didn't do the proper evaluation. We in the middle of New York Park in cold.
Well, we're going to get that name also because through the years, once again, we've heard a lot of the same people, the same stories, the same people getting paid. And this is part of telling the story of what's going on here. And I do want to get back to the money for a minute, too. How much money has this cost you? I mean, you're working, you pay $800 a rent, you're a single mom. How are you doing for money?
Just it's I'm kind of not I'm not saying struggling, but it's just getting by, basically.
And by, do you have to pay to see your kids?
No, only time I pay is just as far as transportation. Anything else, no.
Okay. Because there are other instances where visitations. Where do you think you're going to go with this? What's the end game for you, and what do you hope to accomplish in the near future?
I want this to be known on a big platform, like what's going on. I feel like no one deserves to get their children taken away. I feel like people that are in the higher places should fix what's going on. And if I'm not to be the tool to utilize my voice to get it done, I will.
Were the kids back in 22 getting assistance? I know with foster care, the people that have foster care are getting paid. And I could tell you right now, and I want to have this on record also, is if they're classified with autism or anything else, there's an extra money involved.
Everybody know that. Yeah, I had did my research on that too. I found that out also.
For all practical purposes, if I understand this correctly, when was the last time you held your 2-year-old daughter?
The last time I held my 2-year-old daughter was in February.
Of this year?
Yep.
So it's been 3 months, 4 months that you actually been able to give her a hug or a hold on to her.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How about for your son?
That's fine.
The same? Okay. That's okay. This is important. This is important that people know this because we've seen too much and I've seen too much. We're here to help try to shed light on what's going on and to hear this emotion from you. I'm sorry that you're going through this, and with your help and our help of others, your son and your daughter will be proud of you.
So,
They will, Tayanna. We'll talk to you soon and we'll be in touch and we'll get the information to you in the video. Thank you, Tayanna.
This has been More Than a File, the unheard stories for Custody for Cash in Pennsylvania. Remember, behind every file is a family, behind every family story is a system. When the facts don't line up, the stories matter even more. Thanks for listening.